Welcome to Created Healthy. I'm Dawn Combs. It's a common idea that God gave us everything we need in nature, but do we believe it enough to walk that out in truth? Often the very same people who say this go looking for answers on how to use food and medicine from man-made sources. Everything man creates comes with a user's manual. Why would God be any different? I challenge you to join me in seeking revelation about our body, mind, soul, and spirit health by digging into His written word and in practicing pure science in the visible world of His creation. Because every house has to have a foundation, it was laid strongly on my heart to start this podcast with a daily series. I am using the book, The Bible in 52 Weeks, which you can buy for men or for women. I invite you to read along with me. Genesis 34 through 36 is pretty high drama. We start out right away with Dinah, who is the only daughter of Jacob, the daughter of Leah, actually. And Dinah is raped by a guy named Shechem. And Simeon and Levi, her brothers, obviously don't like that. They get pretty mad. And they decide to take revenge. And what they do here is a twist on the covenant that God used to mark His people. They decide to use that against Shechem's people. And they tell him, since he's in love with her and he wants to marry her, that they will let that happen as long as all of his people, all of the men, get circumcised. And while they are recovering and while they are weakened, Simeon and Levi go into their town and they kill all of the men, and they take everything that is owned, all of their wealth. And this is not a good look here. While we may look at it from a perspective of a more violent time that we live in, we may think, wow, this is justified, an eye for an eye. He deserved to die because he disrespected Dinah, and it was really evil and violent. It's the twisting of God's covenant to use as taking revenge, as taking judgment that is not theirs, that isn't a good look here, and I would expect some reprisals. Jacob goes back to Bethel, where God first revealed Himself to him. And we talk again about Jacob being renamed. And so Jacob is, once again, we talk about the fact that he is now called Israel. Rachel on the road here goes into labor, and we're told that it is harsh labor. It doesn't go well. And whether this is a fulfillment of her behavior for stealing her father's household idols, I've seen people suggest that. I'm still looking for support for that, but nonetheless, she has a rough labor, and as she's giving birth to this child, she dies shortly after. Now, she lives long enough to name him Ben-Oni, and Jacob, after she dies, renames him pretty quickly to Benjamin. The next story we get to is Reuben. Reuben sleeps with his mother's nursemaid, Bilhah, her servant, and another not good look. We've got a lot of stuff going on in this household. Forever a drama. Isaac dies, and then we look at Esau and Jacob parting ways, and they've both done really well, and they're at good terms. This is a peaceable parting, and the two will remain peaceable. Their peoples will remain peaceable for a long time. But Esau is actually, when he ate the stew, when he gave up his birthright, it is mentioned that he eats something. It's red, and he becomes called Edom, or the red, and that carries through. His people actually moved to a part of this area with red sand, red rocks, and his descendants are listed in chapter 36. And many people go on to be part of this Edom kingdom, the Red Kingdom. And there are many more stories that we're going to see Edom, but for a while this is peaceable. So that's pretty much the end of all the stories here. And the thing that I want to go back to and discuss is this idea of naming, the power of naming, the power of our words. There's another emphasis here, and I want to go back and call out some of the other ones as I'm talking about this one here with the renaming of Ben-Oni to Benjamin. The first incidence of naming being powerful is in the first chapter when God is speaking everything into being. There is an awareness that his words and his ability to name things, he is naming the darkness and the light. He is naming the land. He is naming the water. And as he names it, it is coming into being, and it is also expressing his ownership and his sovereignty and his hand in creating the thing which he speaks. The very next moment where we see somebody naming things is actually Adam. God brings all of the animals to Adam one by one, and it says that he has him name them. And I think probably I've read that a number of times all my life and thought it was cute. I think we've probably seen little cartoons that we colored at Bible school about Adam naming things and getting to come up with the idea of koala and kangaroo. But this naming is deeper than just a cutesy naming, the idea of how did he come up with all these names. The privilege of naming something is stating ownership, and in this case, it's stewardship. It's dominion over. In the I am responsible. I am responsible for the care. I am responsible of the well-being. I am taking all of this into my space and into my heart and into my sphere of care. It's relationship. We move on from there and we see God continually renaming people. There are names that are given. Abram and Sarai are notable here. They were given those names from their parents, and then God renames them Abraham and Sarah. And this is a moment of claiming them, claiming the ownership, claiming the sovereignty and the dominion over them in the covenant. We see again where Jacob is renamed Israel, and that's a big renaming. It means something. It is ownership. It is a promise. So naming is powerful. I would be remiss to not think also about the fact that we name our children, and right now we definitely have issues of whether or not we have rights, parental rights with our kids. And by this thinking, the very process of naming somebody gives you dominion or stewardship over them. You have rights as a parent for naming, and God is renaming these people. But here in this story, we have Rachel naming Ben-Oni, and when we go and look up what that means, it is son of sorrow. She is naming him out of the circumstances that she knows she's about to die. She knows she's not going to make it, and she names him in a way that places it places a benediction, a path for his life, this naming, because naming is powerful. It isn't just something we sign on a dotted line. It is a way forward. It's a blessing on the life that is about to happen. And we have negative blessings, we have curses, we have positive blessings. And Jacob, after Rachel dies, renames this child to Benjamin, which is son of the right hand. He is speaking a new destiny for this child. He doesn't want the benediction over this child, this pronouncement of his life, to be sorrow. He wants it to be favor and power and success. And so he renames him. When I think about this and applying it to powerful words that are spoken over our lives right now, I think a lot about doctors pronouncing diagnoses over people, and the fact that so many people are accepting these diagnoses. They seek the diagnosis as an identity. It isn't just an understanding of a list of symptoms or a course of action. It is now an identity. When a doctor pronounces a diagnosis over someone and they accept it, they are accepting the naming of this doctor taking dominion over, power over them, and pronouncing their destiny, pronouncing who they are now and who they will become and what their life is going to be. There is so much power in naming, and this is why diagnoses are so dangerous. I see so many people that come in and talk to me and they say, well, I'm diabetes, I'm rheumatoid arthritis, I have Lyme's. They have accepted it as their identity. And it's almost, I joke a lot, like we should all be wearing shirts that have, "Hi, I am diabetes" on them. So many people decide that this is their identity and they act accordingly. They make plans accordingly. They change how they approach life, and they change how they approach what it is that God actually has asked them to do. They often change course, and they start to listen to a doctor that has pronounced over them instead of listening to their true Father, who actually holds the power over their health and over how long they'll live and what they will do with that. So when somebody pronounces to me that they are diabetes, that they have accepted this, that this is what they are, this is their identity, I usually correct them and say, no, you aren't diabetes. You aren't that diagnosis. Diabetes is only a place that you are right now. It is a current destination. It is a current location, not your destination. You are passing through diabetes, and you can choose to dwell there for the rest of your life and own it as your identity, as your name, as your benediction, or you can choose to pass through it and understand that you have use it to help you understand better what is going on, what is going wrong, and then leverage it to heal, claiming your identity in Christ instead, and not claiming the identity of a diagnosis. And I think that it's something to ponder. Are you claiming a diagnosis as your identity? Or are you recognizing right now that you are just passing through? It is just a place that you are right now, but it is not your final destination. I hope that you think about that, because I think it's really important. We will see this naming come again and again and again. Naming is powerful, and we have to be careful about who names over us in our life. So I hope God blesses you today and brings you back to listen and read again with me tomorrow. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share with a friend. And I'm always interested in hearing what God is laying on your heart. So drop me a rating or review, or join the conversation on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube at Dawn Combs Really.